We have a process that you go through. When you go through those processes successfully, you get the benefits that are involved. So we are not only focusing on the exports, imports as well. Then Mr. Chonam spoke about payment systems in Africa. It's been mentioned in a number of workshops or seminars organized by Ministry of Trade that the AFCFTA is trying to organize a payment system for all our transactions under AFCFTA. And they made mention of Agribusiness Bank. They are still in the process of developing a payment system for all transactions under AFCFTA. I don't think it will be through the cryptocurrency system, but payment systems where, from what I understood, you will be paid in your local currency. And even as at the previous meeting that was held a few weeks ago, they made a presentation to the African Ministers of Trade. So the process is still ongoing. Then my friend and brother from AGI, the question of rules of origin. I thought you would give me the opportunity to talk a bit more on the rules of origin, but unfortunately, a panel discussion will not enable me. This is a subject I will have to learn specifically. The issue of raw material sent from Benin outside to probably China and coming back. It depends on the product involved. Like I mentioned, we're using the HS code. We have to see the product. What is the HS code of the product? When the product is coming back, what is the HS code of the product? What rules are applicable to that or those HS codes? That is why we make the final determination as to whether that product qualifies or not. As I sit here, I can't say it qualifies or not because I don't know what that product is. So we'll take our time and then study the rules. Then I speak to the gentleman from the law firm about the availability of our documents. Yes, when you go to Unipass Ghana, you Google www.unipass Ghana, the external portal, you'll be able to access. You don't need any registration to be able to access the external portal. UnipassGhana.com. External. The internal, you need a login to be able to have access. But external, it's open. Then you see after portal, we have uploaded some information. If you are still not very clear about the information we have put up, please feel free to call me. I'll explain to you what those informations are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akoto. I'll take final words from Raphael, if you want to.
Very briefly, because I think people is angry. First of all, I'm very pleased to hear all this very lively discussion, and I'm very pleased that the business interact very lively with the government, because that's the purpose, I think, of this kind of event, to put the issue on the table and try to find solution that at the end work for the country, for the people, because that's the purpose that we have all here in this moment. Just two quick, let's say, comment on the issue of standards on one side and also rule of origin from, of course, the European perspective and experience. Standard, they should be, as much as possible, international one, because that's the only way where, especially small and medium companies, can build up economy of scale and compete. Because the big companies they don't have problem maybe to change the production line and to satisfy different standards. But the small one, they need to have volumes that justify their business. So if they can export with the same standard in different countries, because the standards are international, that's the best way to. And that's what we try to do also in Europe. Although in Europe we have a market which is big enough to justify maybe specific European standard. We always try to be as much as possible coherent with the international standards. That's on one point. And on the rule of origin, I think the rule of origin are important, and I think the role of custom, of course, is to make sure that there are no abuse of the product that they enter duty free while they are not entitled to. But the rule of origin they must be also flexible, as you mentioned, because that's the tool to also help to build competitiveness. Because you need import. We don't have to forget that you need the import in order to export. It is almost impossible to have everything done domestically. So you need to have rule of origin that allow to have the input that you need cheaply, of course, as cheap as possible, in order to be competitive, in order to build up export that they can go to other countries and compete there. So I know that you are working on the rule of origin still in the African Continental FTA. There are still some work to do. So I hope that this flexibility will be taken into account in order to allow the business up to have the necessary input. Thank you.
Thank you. Francis, I'll come to you before Fatima.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Is
Kuto.
business okay with Nigeria? I think that was the question from Interplast for you.
Yeah, so yes, Nigeria has opened its borders, but due to the COVID, a lot of strict adherence to the protocols. But we have resumed tracking our products from the land borders. And then I may say that we've done some few shipments, which are successful. And then we are picking the learning curves to perfect the new demands that are required at the border. So yes, we've started, it's working. You can try it. And then it also depends on your distributors who are willing to start or try the border. But we have done it, so it's working. So, Mr. Akoto, for me to wrap up, I want to say that yes, the AFTA trade agreement, we as companies or companies who want to take advantage of this opportunity should really look at the need or to identify opportunities out there in those markets that we're going to be competing with, and then building the capacity to meet the game on the field. Because it's not going to be a game of the week for you to play on this international scene. You need to be ready for the game, meet the standards. As David also said it, you need to move from a certain mind of doing things to do the right thing, to be able to have the right packaging, quality, look, and feel for your product to be able to compete on the market. And then you as a company will have to try to make your product unique. Because looking back into our company, we have a flagship brand that is called Automotive. It has unique benefits that drive people to the product. And this product is what is driving us on the market, because we have really invested in making it an international standard kind of product, you understand, to be able to compete with the big guys out there. So I believe that with the support of the government to the smaller companies, let's help build their capacity for them to grow up to meet the requirements, the standards, and then also to focus, to be ready for the opportunity, not to wait for the opportunity to come before we warm up to it. We should identify the opportunity, build up the capacity, and then meet it when it's ready on our doorsteps. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Francis. We'll now hear finally from Fatima.
Thank you. I mean, it's very interesting. The two challenges that are coming up and the questions are purely for customs and standards. And I think that clearly shows that's the engine for the CFTA to work. What only I would say is from the agri sector, at least for us in terms of origin, it's pretty obvious. If it didn't grow in your land, it's not coming in. And unless you're able to show that value addition was put into the process. What I would like to only harp on is purely on the standards area, especially for us on the continent. If I take just the cocoa tree, and with all due respect to Belgium being the best producers of chocolate in the world, no matter what they do, they can't grow a cocoa tree, in Belgium. Yet the standards for the chocolate and what has to be produced is actually being given to us by somebody from the outside, and yet we're the growers for it. So I think we are going to have to look at certain things that are genuinely coming from the continent where we define the standard for it. Whether you're talking about aquaculture, nobody grows tilapia in the rest of the world, so it's only Africa that can create the standard for it. The same thing that happens with cassava, it's not growing anywhere else. So I think that we need to get to those discussions as well, so that we do not get into a situation where we are stuck with produce that we can't take out. I mean, you talk about the cashew industry. If we just talk about Ghana, I don't know how many are aware, we've got 13 factories in Ghana, only 2 are operational out of 13. And of those 2, they're not even running at 50% capacity, okay? Yet it's somebody else out there that is defining that I will not take this cashew because it's not this length, it is not this grade. My friend, 70% of the nuts that are going out to the world are coming out of Africa. 60% of the cocoa that is going out of Africa. So I think from a standards perspective, I do appreciate that we do need to follow this so-called international standard, but there is going to be a requirement where we define the standards for what we think is the best that is going out there.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Ladies and gentlemen, help me thank my panelists with a round of applause. Mr. Akoto, Mr. Koto, Mrs. Fatima Ali Muhammad, and Francis Aja, thank you all very much for coming. We are just about wrapping up. Now, we have questionnaires for you to fill, so we'll be very glad if you fill all those questionnaires in full and submit to us. You can leave it on your table, we'll pick it up, or you can give it to the ladies at the back. They will take the questionnaires. Because of COVID-19 restrictions, the restaurant of the hotel is not functioning at full capacity, so lunch will be takeaway. So the takeouts are at the back, nicely packaged, so we can each pick a pack on our way out. Now, we'll have the closing remarks, and we shall begin with one from the Vice President SME of the AGI. He gave us the welcome remarks, so it will be good to hear his closing thoughts. And after that, we'll hear a final closing remark from Dr. Michael Blanc from AHK Ghana. So, Mr. Vice President, let me sanitize you first. Then you take this microphone.
Hello, colleagues. I believe we've had a very stimulating discussion. And the way forward with AFTA, the various roles that we can play to perfect and make sure AFTA is a reality and that we can all enjoy of that scale of economy. A few thoughts that came up seriously was issues regarding the cross-cutting interventions that could lead to efficiency and also assist us in doing our mass production and building the capacity as captured by our panelists. One critical area is power. I look forward, and I was telling Seth that we need to engage with GIZ and AHK on how to do a whole thorough day or engagement on power and its role in AFTA. How can that lead to efficiency and the right cost across the borders to drive our scale of production? I look forward to issues regarding transportation and infrastructure. We talk about the farmer at the farm gate and how he transports his product, and storage and irrigation. How do we engage and seek expert knowledge from our colleagues in Europe that have done it over the period? A specific engagement on this will lead to opportunities, and we will see the opportunities coming up as we engage. I also look forward to seeing how digitization will play a meaningful role as a cross-cutting issue, and standardization that came up. How do we then make standardization funding might not be necessary from government or from the SME, or it should be a joint combination. So as government will appreciate that standardization is a cross-cutting issue, so we should do 50% funding for a particular sector. So as the SME or the big enterprise goes in there, the way your turnover, they look at your categorization and they say, okay, paid X percentage for this intervention. Cross-cutting issues will stimulate the efficiency and then get us to leapfrog. And finally, one big critical one I look forward to is the financial intermediation. Cost of funding across borders. How do we enhance on this, and insurance policies for trading? Those are real critical cross-cutting issues that I believe, if we'll engage in our discussion, will stimulate the efficiency and the growth and the success of AFTA. We look forward to it, and thanks for the engagement. It was a wonderful time, and look forward to more engagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. We shall hear the final. So this is the first closing remark, but we are going to hear the final closing remark by Dr. Michael Blanc. Doc, let me sanitize you first. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you. Does it work? No, it doesn't. It works? Okay. Yes, I know. I'm very well aware that I'm standing between you and the lunch break, so I'll be very short, actually. But bear with me if I share with you a few impressions that I made during this morning. The overarching topic was opportunities for investment and job creation in Ghana under the AFTA. And if you talk to a business person, and we, of course, we talk to many business people. If you talk to a business person and ask him or her, when would you invest and create jobs? In most cases, you receive 3 different reasons that are pivotal. Number 1, I need a market. Number 2, I need security. And number 3, I need a skilled workforce. If you look at these 3 criteria, Ghana is very, very good. Ghana is one of the most secure, most peaceful, most reliable countries in the whole of Africa. Ghana's workforce is relatively skilled, and there are quite a few programs in place to improve it. But now comes the third one, market. Ghana herself has a relatively small market, if I may say so, as compared to Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and so on. However, now that we talk about AFTA, Ghana has a huge potential to grow into what we've heard, the 5th biggest economy on earth. That is Ghana's opportunity. A single market of 55 different economies combined will help Ghana to become very, very competitive. That was actually the framework within the entire discussion today was settled. If I look and if I remember the 4 really good presentations that we received, plus Stephanie's starting remark regarding the Invest for Jobs initiative, then I come up with, let's say, 4 very brief messages. Message number 1, the government here in Ghana stands firmly behind AFTA. Not least because the government made sure that the Secretariat came to Accra. Don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate the fact that the Secretariat is here in Ghana. That means Ghana has a role to play, and Ghana has a commitment now, and that's good. But also government institutions, ministries like Zimoti, which we heard today as well, they came up with convincing programs with good ideas that can help. Message number 2, not only government itself, but also government supporting institutions are behind AFTA. And we heard the Ghanaian Standard Authority. One of the, and let me emphasize this, one of the most important organizations when it comes to the implementation, we need the Ghanaian Standard Authority. That was Fatima also mentioned in her last comment, right? And what I also found very nice, very positive, David's message of seize the opportunity. Reinvent your system and integrate the opportunity into the whole value-added chain. So we had a very positive mood that came up with the 4 presentations. But this positive mood that continued when I listened to the panelists. We had another important organization, GRA, speaking also on behalf of very sorry, of very important and crucial elements when it comes to the implementation of AFTA. We need GRA, and we received the important confirmation by GRA that yes, the rules of origins are flexible, officers will follow origin fraud, and there is a common, or there will be coming up a common platform to exchange and share transit data. I think these messages are really important. But also important was the attendance of the EU representative, Raffaele Quattro. Why? The EU, and he mentioned that, has been based on regional integration, is very, very successful in regional integration, and the EU based her regional integration approach on agriculture. That was the very beginning. So maybe Ghana can listen, maybe Ghana can also try to find what Ghana can learn and in how far the European Union can support. Because, of course, the European Union is a very important trading partner for Ghana, a very important trading partner for Africa, and for many African countries, the most important one. So the EU should definitely play a role and be supportive in many aspects. And I was happy to hear that Raffaele also mentioned green business and digital business, where Europe definitely can help. And from the German point of view, we most certainly can confirm that lots of German companies in these sectors are eyeing Ghana right now. Francis from Casapreco, very important, very important. He's representing one of the most important companies in his sector. And if he's sitting over here and telling us business now is better, that is an excellent message. Because if he's saying that, and Casapreco, from my understanding, is a company which is doing it, which is already trying to exercise and trying to come up with the advantages of the AFTA. If Casapreco can do it, many others can follow. But you also need someone who's going ahead, and that's really good. And then we have Fatima. I'm not sure whether you realized, but Fatima was the only female speaker today. That is, oh, of course, we have two. Sorry, two. On the panel. Sorry, I mean on the panel. The only female panelists over here. You have to be better than that. We have to be better. And I also have to say that what you are saying on the panel really convinced me. It really convinced me because you were talking about let's take the pandemic as an opportunity. Let's see to collaborate on the continent. Let's seize the opportunity of AFTA and become competitive, maybe even world market leaders in many segments. We can do that. Africa can do that. I know it. But in order to do it, we need minded people like yours and your panelists who all, I'm quite sure, who all believe in Africa, in Ghana, and who can make it happen. So therefore, I'm leaving this whole event with some problems with my face mask, of course, but I'm leaving the whole event on a very positive mood. On a very positive mood. AFTA, and don't forget that, AFTA is in play since 48 days only. We are at the very beginning. At the very beginning. 48 days is nothing. So we have a long way ahead, but believe me, we can do it, and this long way can become the most important development for the African continent ever since. If you can do it, and if you really get your act together, and there are quite a few challenges ahead, let's not underestimate it, right? But if you can do it, I'm sure Africa has a huge and potential to grow further and to lead the world in many, many ways. Some of them we heard today. And last but not least, there are lots of institutions, organizations that can support you. Some of them were in this room today. Please talk to them after this event has closed. Talk to them. And let me also continue with what Stephanie said at the very beginning. She mentioned that there are some programs in play that can help you. Talk to us, talk to GIZ. If you really plan to invest and to create jobs with or without AFTA, talk to us. We can definitely give you some support and see that you can make the best out of it for your company, but also for Ghana as your host country. Thank you very much. I'm leaving this event with a very good and positive mood, and I hope you do so too. And once again, thank you to AGI, thank you to GIZ to support this. I think it's important. We should definitely continue this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. Michael Blanc. And thank you all for coming, those in the auditorium. I must say to those watching online that we adhere to the COVID-19 protocols. You cannot have the Standards Authority boss here and not adhere to standards. So we are all safe in here. Thank you very much to AHK, AGI, and GI's Special Initiative on Training and Job Creation in Ghana. And thank you to all the invited guests who came. Prof, for example, I know you're a very busy man, but you made time to be here. Thank you for coming. Mr. Akoto, I know there are a lot of things on your desk, and you are targeting more revenue. Yes, 10 billion per month. That's a big target. We wish you all the best, and thank you for coming. Raphael, thank you very much for also making it here. Fatima, thank you. So please, let's put our hands together for the two ladies who spoke today. Fatima and Stephanie, thank you very much. And the two ladies I worked with in the background, they are at the back. Give us a wave. In fact, three ladies, 1, 2, 3. Give us a wave. Thank you very much for all the work you put into this. And thank you also for coming. Lunch is at the back. The survey is also in front of you. Kindly fill the forms for us so that we get the feedback. And to our virtual participants, thank you as well. My name is Kojo Akoto Boateng. I work with CTFM and CTTV. We'll have more of these conversations to help create value and grow the continent. Thank you all for coming. Photograph.